Hello and welcome to this brand new season of Oh the Horror. And brand new is a very ironic term to use in this case, because if you think Curse of the Puppet Master had a constant stock footage problem, well my friends, you haven't seen nothing yet. So, tighten your strings and get ready for a cinematic experience so redundant it makes Vince Vaughn's Psycho look like a creative liberty by comparison. In this, the 8th entry in the Puppet Master franchise. 2003's Puppet Master: The Legacy.
You know you're in for an odd ride when they have to separately credit the people behind the 20 minutes worth of original footage they cut into this thing. It's also interesting to note that this is the first entry in the series directed by Charles Band himself, albeit under the pseudonym Robert Talbot. The same one he used for NoAngels.com, a sexy documentary about 5 women who create a porno website.
Well, I don't know about you, but I for one can certainly see the connection. After all, we know how wide Leech Woman can open her mouth, right fellas?
So this movie starts, and considering the size of that lamp and book compared to the woman, this is definitely the sexiest puppet we've seen in the series so far. At least until Nazi gun boobs.
Okay, Puppet Master. Tell me everything.
Well, that might be easier if you, I don't know, turned to a page that actually had writing on it. This woman's name is McLean.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
And it looks like she's been hired by some shadowy organization to watch scenes from Puppet Master 2 and try to find Andre Toulon's secret recipe for creating Ray Harryhausen rejects. But,
Dead end. The formula's not here.
Yeah, the book spontaneously combusted. What do you expect me to do? Put it out or something? I'm not getting paid enough for this.
We then cut to what they want us to think is the old hotel from the earlier movies, and I might have believed it if this wasn't clearly somebody's car garage covered in decorative sex toys, where McLean has snuck up on the grandfather from Evil Bong.
Scrotum sack.
Actually, this time he's playing an old friend of Toulon's named Eric, who seems to be the only person alive who may have the answers McLean is looking for. And considering canonically this movie takes place after 4 and 5, you're probably wondering, what about Rick? He was the last one to own the puppets, who are now here for some reason, but anyway, they'll sure be explained later on. But surely he would be important.
I killed him 6 hours ago.
What does it say that this character from this rather obscure series of horror movies, a sequel no less, had more depth and character growth before his unceremonious death than Zack Snyder's Superman did? On that note, maybe we'll see Rick pop up in the trailer for the next Puppet Master movie in a dream sequence too.
To avoid meeting the same fate, Eric whips out a tape recorder Toulon left for him, which, no, it's not a private message or anything because that would require way too much effort. It's just an excuse to play more stock footage. Let's just say Toulon was going for a Lee Evans from Freeze Frame angle. Wow, there's a fucking obscure reference. And just recording everything he said, no matter how pointless it seemed at the time. Okay, hold the fuck on. This is the opening from Retro Puppet Master, and they left the flashback cut in? So what we're seeing right now is literally a flashback within a flashback.
I'm going deeper, Cobb!
After young Toulon's terrible opening act to the NFFA's annual Purge Party, he is then jump-cuttedly approached by his future fiancée Ilsa, who, according to this editing, then turns into a creepy old man and recruits him into the Black Lantern Corps.
Now the words.
Klaatu, Miranda.
And of course, this flashback ends after Toulon and the puppets save Ilsa from the Judge Doom fan club.
That's it? I don't give a damn about this drivel. The Puppet Master lived happily ever after.
But he didn't.
In fact, Toulon dumped her right after as soon as his real true love arrived.
Oh, hi, Mark.
We then cut to Puppet Master 3, where all I'm wondering is why Toulon never brought little Fuhrer here to life. And seeing as how Eric is telling this part of the story, who was actually the little boy, by the way, was he just secretly following everybody around during the movie and I just didn't see him? Because he's talking about parts that he clearly wasn't in. We go through Toulon and the puppet's blood-filled revenge against the Nazis for the death of his wife. In fact, the next 24 minutes of the movie is Puppet Master 3, which kind of makes me wonder why I'm just not watching Puppet Master 3.
I know I keep harping on this, but Jesus Christ! How does something this low effort come into existence? And why am I even putting in the effort to make new footage for it? I'll just use a couple of my old clips. Excuse me!
Even Bruce Willis here is getting tired of this bullshit, and she just shoots Eric in the knee. And despite his claims Toulon only killed evil people, this prompts her to bring up the first two movies, which shows that, yeah, Andre was a bit of an arsehole.
Hey, I've seen The Loved Ones. You need to pour boiling water in that hole to finish that job.
But Eric counters that argument by playing another tape recording of Puppet Master 4, narrated by Rick himself.
Through the channeling, I found a trunk in a room I'd never gone in. A trunk full of puppets.
Puppets and Blu-ray discs for some reason.
Lifelike puppets that had been built by Andre Toulon. He'd escaped Nazi Germany and come here.
We know, Rick. We literally just saw that. Oh yeah, wasn't there something in this movie that really freaked me out when I reviewed it?
I am with you.
Oh yeah!
And then we, of course, and very unfortunately, move on to Curse of the Puppet Master.
And shit.
And if there was at least one positive thing I can say about that pile of crap, at least it wasn't edited all choppily.
That's right, Robin. Not on these puppets.
But how do you make them?
Puppet Master the Legacy. Because if you can't polish a turd, you might as well turd on it again.
Saving this movie for last in your little celebratory clip show movie is like watching Rogue One and the original Star Wars trilogy, and then capping it all off with the Christmas special. And you know what? 3 years later, and I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me where the fuck this thing came from. Flashback number 209 over, and then Pinhead wakes up and lazily throws a mallet at McClane's head, which allows Eric to grab her gun and shoot her. Oh good, so the movie's over now, right?
Don't you understand? Your little friends brought Andre Toulon back to life.
Oh, for the love of... You've already shown us Puppet Master 2! Okay, fine. So, this was the scene where the puppets dig up Toulon and feed him some delicious Mountain Dew, which brings him back as Davros from Doctor Who, and then he turns himself into an American newsreader, and I think Blade sums up my reaction to this whole thing pretty well. And then it all ends as an almost series staple, with the puppets turning against their creator and killing him. Hey, it's Torch! Oh man, he was so cool. Why the hell was he only in 2 movies? Oh, right, the plot. Okay, McClane, with her dying breath, reveals that her intentions were never to steal the secret herbs and spices recipe or whatever for some shady company to mass produce. No, it was to destroy it completely and set free all the souls that Toulon trapped inside the puppet bodies. And with that said, this movie comes to an end with Eric turning around to see something approaching him off screen.
Haha, nice try. I blocked your bullet with my Ginger Dead Man review.
Oh no, it's okay. He just shot a message from the producers thanking everyone involved in the series for their help over the years. Oh, so wait. That was the whole point of this thing? Just a celebration of the series?
Hey, you know what would have been a better celebration of the series and would have made the fans a lot happier? A good movie! And that certainly wasn't what Puppet Master the Legacy was.
Well, what a completely pointless experience this was. If this was meant to be some kind of anniversary celebration, which I don't see why it would be because it's the 8th entry, and the series was only 14 years old at this point, so those are some pretty random numbers. But if this was supposed to be a celebration showing how far we've come, it's a pretty idiotic way to go about it. Mainly because fans will hate it because they're paying for another movie which is just full of shit they've already seen before. The only other reason I can think of for it to exist is a jumping on point for those who may not have seen any of the movies, so they can watch it chronologically as opposed to the series' rather messy release timeline. So if you're someone who would rather watch 7 movies worth of content crammed into an hour with some half-cooked plot shoved in for shits, well, this is for you, I guess.
And that's all from me for tonight, so I'm Fedora, this is Oh the Horror, save a scream for me, and we'll see you next time.
When I was 17, I drank some very good beer. I drank some very good beer I purchased with a fake ID. My name was Brian McKee. I stayed up listening to Queen. When I was